Welcome to the K-Pop Cast, bringing you the best sounds and ideas in K-Pop. And this week, we'll hook you up with some of the hottest songs and spiciest hallyu content recommendations. Joining us this week, we've got KpopSociology, a Korean-American content creator making videos about K-pop since 2009. And KpopSociology, welcome to the show.
Woohoo!
Before we hit record on this episode, you were telling me about what prompted you to start making videos. I was wondering if you could share that background with our listeners.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. Hi, everyone. I was born and raised in Seoul, South Korea, so naturally fell in love with K-pop since the first generation 90s days and moved over to the US kind of during my childhood. And as a bilingual, bicultural person, I noticed that a lot of things, or some of the things, were kind of getting lost in translation when it came to understanding and consuming K-pop in an English-speaking world. So I wanted to bridge that gap, started making YouTube videos since 2009, and have been an avid fan since.
Well, welcome, KpopSociology. So glad that we actually have a real, legit Korean-American, Korean perspective on things. So always very importantly needed.
And not just that, but the fact that you have been into K-pop since 2009 or before, right? So like you have a very long history with it. So
yes,
that's the cool part.
First idol was BoA, and the first ever CD I ever owned was her 2002 album, number 1.
Nice.
Yeah, Bo is an entry for many. And up next, we've got Virginia Duan, a.k.a. the thirstiest sugar stan in the world, Mandarin Mama. So welcome, Virginia, to the show. I think listeners should be familiar with you by now, right?
To their detriment, probably, but yes.
No. And I'm DJ Peter Lowe, the guy who started this podcast, been around forever, K-pop DJ. Okay, well, before we dive into K-pop hit replays and hallyu content recommendations and things, don't forget to join the Slack where we can participate, chat with other listeners. I saw a few of our listeners are actually meeting up in person without us at concerts and stuff. So, yeah, you can build a community there. And you can also sign up for hard-hitting editorial in your email inbox. So we've got a newsletter. And both those things you can sign up for. Links to both of them will be in the episode description of this episode. And now, our hit replays. All right, so KpopSociology, kick us off. What's your hit replay for this week?
Yes, my hit replay for this week is Forever One by Girls' Generation. The Queens are back from Second Generation. They released their 15-year anniversary album earlier this month, and I'm so excited for everyone to take a listen. For anybody who might not be familiar, Girls' Generation basically ruled the world. They were probably one of the most iconic girl groups of second generation K-pop from the 2000 era. They're one of the top grossing girl group tours next to Spice Girls and Destiny's Child. They debuted with a song Into the New World from SM Entertainment in 2007, and their top hits include songs like G, I Got a Boy, The Boys, Mr. Taxi, and O. Do you remember a G? Like G, I think, claimed the top #1 spot on KBS's Music Bank for like 9 consecutive weeks, which was the longest at the time. And also on Melon, which is one of the most popular kind of music streaming charts in Korea, the most popular song of the 2000s decade. So they're truly legendary.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, I've seen people say on like internet forums and things like, oh, how popular was Girls' Generation compared to Twice and Blackpink? And they were, what, more popular. They were like, you know, it's not just like the people into K-pop knew about them. It was like G is like the national anthem.
Yeah, it caused the skinny jean revolution in Korea.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
a lot of people wore those colorful skinny jeans in, bright blue, bright yellow, pink. That was very popular in 2009, 2010. And I think G was the first K-pop music video to reach 10 million views on YouTube. And keep in mind, YouTube was, relatively new in 2009.
Yeah.
So huge, groundbreaking.
I mean, I even heard of them because one of my friends was a huge stan, and I used to make fun of him for traveling all these places to go see them in concert. And I'm like, what are you doing, you old man, watching these people? And now I am that old woman traveling to see BTS in concert. So I'm like, well, karma's fun.
He was an early adopter. I think one other important thing to note is that they debuted as a 9-member group. So
Oh, yeah. Right. OT9.
태연, Sunny, Tiffany, Hyoyeon, Yuri, Suyoung, Yuna, Seoyeon, and Jessica actually left in 2014.
Oh.
I'm not sure how much to go into that. There's a lot of stuff there, but I'll just leave it as that. The 8 girls, even though they're part of different entertainment companies, some of them have left SM Entertainment, and some of them even transitioned into acting careers, have actually come back for this 15-year anniversary. So I guess just kind of transitioning into why I think this is a good hit replay is, I feel like Girls' Generation is paving the way for older K-pop groups and their reunions. The vocals are super sentimental, and the fact that folks from different entertainment companies and labels can come together to make something like this happen kind of sets a precedent for other groups. Also, the person who wrote the lyrics for this song, Forever One, is the same person who wrote the lyrics for their debut song, Into the New World, in 2007.
No,
so if you listen to the lyrics kind of closely, there's a connection, kind of like a call and response between these two songs, which are 15 years apart.
Oh, I was wondering, because when I saw the video, I was like, oh, this seems very much for the fans and was very nostalgic. And I was like, oh, I bet you they're calling back to a lot of their old videos or songs.
Yep.
I think
so that's cool.
one of them, in one of the lines, it says, 널 생각만 해도 강해져. And in the 2022 version, they say, which is, when I think of you, I become strong. And then the 2022 version says, I became strong because I thought of you. So a lot of plays like that just makes it so sentimental. And I'm so proud to see them back.
They look good too, I have to say. I mean, obviously they're in entertainment, but
but everyone's in their 30s.
Which is actually very young.
Compared to the, girl groups who were born in 2007, yes.
No, I'm just teasing. Yeah, no, they look so good. I was like, well, all right, then I'm clearly doing something wrong.
No.
That's not true.
Yeah.
It is.
I loved all those little Easter eggs that you were describing, K-pop sociology, in this song. Like, there's just so many parallels, both musical and lyrical and visual motifs back to Into the New World. Like, I keep seeing those two songs as bookends as a career. Like, obviously, it's not the end for Girls' Generation, but that's what it currently feels like at this chapter. Like that, okay, we've closed this chapter that opened with Into the New World.
Yeah.
Do you think they'll keep the name Girls' Generation, or they'll change it into Women's Generation? Because BTS makes that same joke, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, they'll be like, are we going to be Ajusi, bulletproof Ajusis?
One of the sayings that they say is, right now it's Girls' Generation, tomorrow it'll be Girls' Generation, and forever will be Girls' Generation. 지금은 소녀시대, 앞으로도 소녀시대. That's the 3-part chant. So as someone who has liked them since they were quote unquote girls, I hope they stay that way. Like the song, Forever, Forever One.
Oh, okay. I mean, I dig it.
And I've actually heard Tiffany say in English interviews before, Girls' Generation forever, bitches. I think it's here to stay for the foreseeable future.
I think the comma placement on that statement is important.
Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, good hit replay. I'm glad we were able to work in Girls' Generation into this. Oh, quick side note, quick anecdote. I did a DJ'd a random dance game recently, and I played this song, and no one knew it.
Oh my gosh.
I died. I died a little bit on the inside. I was like, do you not know who these girls are?
The
But I
legendary
think,
girls generation.
yeah, I think it just shows you how quickly like K-pop as a scene moves, that even though you can be like top of the game, like, you know, just a few years ago, not even that many years ago, to the newbies, like, you know, they still have a lot to learn about the classics.
I'm just curious, like, so in the Bay Area, they have all these, like, I'm really bitter that they call it the oldies stations now, but like all these oldies stations, but they play like 80s, 90s, 2000s hip hop almost exclusively, right? So I'm just curious, is there like a comparable scene for K-pop? Like, are there like second gen, first gen radio stations in Korea where people would like hear their old faves, or is it just perpetually new?
That's a really interesting question. I wish I knew the answer to, but my guess, I haven't lived in Korea for a while and I don't drive around there, so I don't listen to the radio too much. But my guess, educated guess, would be that the structure of having like music radio stations that play a lot of songs with like unique niche tastes is more of an American thing and less of a Korean thing. I see radios in Korea mostly play what you would call top 40 or like the most popular songs more. But that might be because of my taste. And there might totally be, niche stations that cater to that audience, but none that I'm aware of at the moment.
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, in the clubs here, it's like, it still feels like everyone uses it as an excuse to do like random dance game, flex. I know the choreography, Gen 4 kids. But like some 21 and up clubs, like it's only Gen 2 hits. And those are my favorite to DJ.
Yes, I would go to those.
Yeah. Okay, but let's move along here. So, Virginia, what's your hit replay?
My hit replay is Jackson Wang's. I feel
Of
like
course.
all my hit replays are always Jackson Wang.
Hey, I'm not complaining. I love Jackson Wang.
So up next is Jackson Wang's latest single, Cruel, on the upcoming Magic Man album. It's the single after Blow. And so let's listen to that.
Just like it better when it's cold.
So I love Jackson Wang. He is 1/7 of the K-pop group GOT7. He's of Chinese descent from Shanghai. And he does all these things, like sings, is a record producer, fashion designer, music video director. And is the founder of the record label Team Wang and the creative director and lead designer for fashion brand Team Wang Design. And I don't think he ever
You
takes a
forgot
break.
Olympic fencer, right?
Well,
That's right.
He wasn't technically an Olympic
Okay,
fencer.
sure, but that level, he was competing at that level.
Yeah, and he pretty much was either going to go into the Junior Olympics and continue that route, but then I think it was a JYP scout came to his school in Hong Kong, and so he's just like, well, I guess I'll try that. And so he did. And I just love him so very, very, very much. And it's probably because I'm also Chinese or Taiwanese, and he is. And so there's another level of relating. But the song is like a rock twist on like hip hop and R&B. It kind of sounds like a hip hop version of Arctic Monkeys' Do I Want to Know? Because that same vibe. And it's talking about like the cruelty of love, or like this really toxic relationship, how this woman only likes him when he's cold or like mean. And it's fun to like watch on TV or like see in a movie. Terrible to actually live. Right? But I feel like most people can probably relate because you've been in at least one or two toxic relationships in your life before you're like, nope, none of that anymore. So I really like it. And it's just sexy. That video though, I'm telling you, if you haven't seen the MV, you have to watch it. He has these amazing dancers. I think Blair is her name, is like one of the main adversary, and he plays his backup dancers like guitars, and you're like, I'll be a guitar. Like, please play me. That's why you invited me on the podcast, Peter.
Sure, right. For thirsty comments like that. Yeah.
Right. And he's always shirtless. So what's not to enjoy about a person who does that?
I noticed that Jackson is not only the writer of the song, but also, like you said, the creative director, the movement director. So I'm guessing he also had a lot of say in the choreography. And I always give a lot of credit to artists who produce their own music, direct their own kind of videos and dances.
Yeah, he's improved a lot. Because I will say some of his first forays, I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. But you know what? Fendi Man really grew on me, so whatever.
I saw recently he was made an honorary member of the Kinjas, for his. They were in his 100 ways. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But look, there's no denying that K-pop idols work extremely hard, and you don't always see that on camera. But externally speaking, Jackson Wang works so hard. He's just doing all these things. He doesn't sleep. He just goes nonstop. He does on top of all these things that he does in production and creating. He also does so much in promotion itself. He goes on really extensive radio tours and interviews, and I don't know what keeps him going.
I think coffee.
I saw in a video that he grinds a bunch of spinach and chicken breast and eats it for breakfast.
It's so gross.
Yeah.
It's that's
what keeps him going.
It's like cat food at that point, right?
Yeah.
Ew. No, the thing is, I think when GOT7 was more active, he would work 6 months out of the year in China and do his own thing. And then the other 6 months he would be promoting with GOT7.
Right.
And I mean, I don't like commenting on people's bodies or faces or whatever, but he looks tired sometimes. And I'm just please take a nap. I'm tired keeping up with all the things that you do. Please take a nap.
Honestly, you can spend all your free time just consuming his content because it's just so much.
Yeah. And he's been on Steezy a lot lately to promote his Magic Man stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The dance YouTube channel. And so it's really cool.
All right. Much love for Jackson Wang. So great hit replay, Virginia. So we'll move into my hit replay. And my hit replay has actually been out for a while now. I was actually debating between this and Ashby's latest song, which just came out. But it's SUNMI who prevails. And it's her progressive, acoustic-friendly song, Heartburn. So, in case you didn't know, Lee SUNMI, or KpopSociology, what's the proper pronunciation?
SUNMI.
SUNMI.
Very good.
Oh, what? No. I'm certain I did not say it correctly. SUNMI.
Yes.
Okay. She's been around since the Wonder Girls.
That's right.
Way back when. OG Wonder Girls with Hyuna. It's always fun to see Hyuna and SUNMI together on stages because they've got a history together.
But Hyuna with Dawn?
Yeah, that Hyuna. Yeah. Hyuna was for the briefest of moments in the Wonder Girls. Yeah, with SUNMI. And SUNMI actually wasn't in the Wonder Girls consistently. She was there from the debut in 2007, I think.
Yes. And then she dropped out while they were promoting in the US in 2010. So she was there for the first 3 most active kind of popular years when Irony, Tell Me, So Hot, and Nobody came out. And then she dropped out. A new member named Harim came in. And then she went back in. Other members switched out. A lot more kind of member swaps. But yes, she debuted in 2007 with Hyuna.
That's right. And so she had a few like solo songs at JYP while she was still there. Full Moon, that was the JYP and Brave Brothers
That's right.
song. And 24 Hours. These were both more sultry oriented songs. And then in 2015, and then in 2017, she left JYP and she joined Make Us Entertainment, now known as Abyss Company. And she released her song Gashina, which is like ultimate all-time banger bop. Like it's one of my favorite songs of all time. But anyway, so moving on to Heartburn, I think it kind of goes along the same theme and vibe that we've actually seen from all of her songs since Gashina, which is to say, it's a theme around being the misunderstood woman. Like, you know, it's always about being quirky or different. And Heartburn, I think if I understand the lyrics and the concept correctly, it's probably based off of like some like Greek myth or something, but like, or based off of sunlight or time itself. And so she has all these lovers, but she outages them all. So yeah, she's there. She wants to engage love, but she's misunderstood by her lovers. Yeah. So anyway, I just like it just because like one, like it's a, you know, thought-provoking song. I love the continued theme of the misunderstood woman, but also it's like, you know, pinky out fancy. I can play this at grown-up parties and people won't think it's a K-pop song.
Oh, I mean, shame on her lovers, really.
Yeah.
The acoustic guitar and the bass I really like in this song. And SUNMI plays the bass, and there's a cover where she actually played the bass of this song, which I really like.
Wow.
Yeah, the live acoustic version where she plays the bass is good. I think I prefer the studio version a little bit more. But yeah, like as you call out, she learned to play the bass from the Wonder Girls comeback, Why So Lonely? Or was it before that? I can't remember, but it was around that time that they all learned how to play instruments. And they did reggae because reggae is easy to play.
Is it?
Easier, like, you know, acoustically to play.
Like you have to do like a vibe. Like if you can't get the vibe, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I really liked Why So Lonely. What was it? The keyboard, the guitar, the bass, and the drums. I think those were the 4 instruments.
Yeah. So while we're on the topic of SUNMI, let me actually just move up in the outline here. I'd love to plug that I've been in touch with K Events, and she's going on tour right now. So I'm going to also drop in the episode description a link where you can buy tickets, catch her live. And she's someone who I've wanted to see live for the longest.
Oh, she can be in the Bay Area?
Yeah, she'll be in San Francisco on September 12th, 13th, I think.
God damn.
A Thursday.
My husband has gotten on my case for spending too much on K-pop. And I was like, then make more money. He didn't appreciate that.
Okay, well, if you really want to go, Virginia, I can hook you up. Yeah, no, we can make it a team fun outing thing. My wife and I are going. We're getting babysitters for the kids. So,
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to like cock block a date. Jeez.
No, I don't think it's going to come to that. I think you're good. So, anyway, okay. So that's it for my hit replay. Up next, we've got the sellout hit replay. The hit replay we're going to plug because we're just adding it for the SEO.
Sellout. No, call it the people's hit
Oh,
replay.
the people's hit replay. Okay.
Sellout hit replay.
Well, maybe being a little too honest there. So it's Blackpink and their song Pink Venom.
This that pink venom, this that pink venom, this that pink venom. Get 'em, get 'em, get 'em. Straight till you don't like. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Straight till you don't like. Taste that pink venom, taste that pink venom, taste that pink venom. Get 'em, get 'em, get 'em. Straight till you don't like. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Straight till you don't like.
So yeah, if you didn't already know, Blackpink. But if you know K-pop, you know Blackpink. But they're the South Korean girl group formed by YG, who I, for a time, called 2NE2, who were formed with members Jisoo, Jennie, Rose, and Lisa. They debuted in 2016 with their dual title launch debut of Whistle and Boombaya. Boombayah I still play today. Boombayah still had
It's a good
pretty good
song.
staying
Yeah.
power.
So is Whistle.
Yes.
Yeah, Whistle's a good song, but I think fans just don't dance to it as much as they do
Oh,
Boombayah.
I see.
Yeah, or their other earlier stuff like Playing with Fire. And anyway, so yeah, their song Pink Venom. It's Blackpink for sure. Like it in terms of look, concept, and sound.
And cultural appropriation. Oh, sorry.
What? Expand more on that.
Oh my gosh, my jaw dropped.
Like Virginia, like what do you tell us? What do you mean? Where are you seeing cultural appropriation?
It's the standard K-pop cultural appropriation, right? Like putting on blackness, wearing certain clothes, wearing like copying a certain attitude or whatever.
Like the point dance in the song, where they're
Oh, the hand behind the back?
yeah, or basically
cute,
they're showing
though.
their butts. It's like, okay, that's a bit more sexy, sultry than I've seen from Blackpink before. Maybe.
Did you not watch the Partition performance where
Oh, no,
JYP
you're
was
right.
super creepy?
You're right. And also Lisa's Money, I guess.
Oh,
But
that song is such a banger. I'm sorry. That
oh yeah,
song's
Lisa's
amazing.
Banger is a hella good song. I definitely play that song all the time. But I guess I was just surprised to see like, oh whoa, okay, that's a bit more sexy, I guess, than I'm used to thinking from Blackpink as a group. So
Oh, I see. But they're like, the hook is like really suggestive, right? Like, taste that pink venom. Like, what is this a, you know? You're like,
But, no, I don't know. Like I'll be naive and dumb, but I really don't know what you mean. what,
why are we making me say this? It's like, is this like, are they talking about oral sex? Like, what is going on? What is the pink venom? I don't understand. But I feel like I derailed this conversation. I'm so sorry. But like, in general, I really like the open. Like the open is like,
Yes, me too.
yeah, like the, I feel like
the classical
Blackpink
instrument
often-
that they've got in the
yeah.
beginning.
And then I really like the Blackpink,
The chanting, in
which
the
they
beginning.
they repeat at the end, right? I really liked it, and then I feel like the rap parts were good, and then like the weird bridges that they stuck in because they had to show off vocals, I guess. And then I'm like, what is going on? And then it goes to the hook, which is really catchy, which I didn't like what they did to Jenny's voice. You know, like
When
they,
she's rapping or when she's singing?
no, when she goes, taste that pink venom. But like they infantilized her voice a lot.
Yeah,
You know?
very different from when she's rapping. I love her voice, like her deeper voice when she's rapping.
Same.
But
Yeah. And so I really like the hook, but just the way they processed her voice or directed her to like deliver that line is sort of like, oh, but I'll go with it because I see where they're going with it, but like, and then it goes back to that weird like singing part. And then it goes back to like being a banger. So it's like a very confusing song to me, but it grows on you. I did not like it when I first heard it.
Yeah, I was in the similar camp of like, the first time I heard it, I was like, okay, like, as I said at the beginning here, like, this is Blackpink's formula. Again, they're like limited discography. But I played it a few times now, and it is definitely a banger. Like, I really like it. Like, in fact, we've got a local Bay Area K-pop Facebook group. A lot of people were saying like, oh, what's your reaction to this? And I said like, okay, I don't really like it now, but I felt that way about a number of other songs. So ask me again later. I'll probably jump on the bandwagon. And like, just a day later, I wrote like, yeah, I'm on the bandwagon now. Like, I really like it. So like, I think I see what you're saying, Virginia. Like, what was it? I think it's after the second chorus. They've got the Lisa Jenny rap section. And it goes like a throwback to like 90s sort of like hip hop.
Yes.
No, they
vibes.
sampled like multiple lines from multiple songs.
They sampled one line from Rihanna.
They did. They sampled Upon the Replay. They sampled the Biggie song, and I think they sampled another song. It's like word for word, exactly the same. So
I didn't even realize that.
yeah. So there's like, it's on TikTok. Like, and the thing is, like, that's cool, and I'm sure they credited people, right? So it's not like So I don't want to hear people talking about like plagiarizing or whatever, right? Like, but because people sample like or cover, I guess, rap rhythms and flows, right? Like, so, and I feel like if you're not really versed in hip hop, then, I mean, I didn't even notice it until it was pointed out, you know? So I did really like the rap parts, and I feel like they stitched those parts well together, I think.
I agree with your earlier point too, Virginia, about the beginning. They play a traditional Korean instrument called kumgo. I think it's Jisoo or Jenny. I think it's Jisoo in the beginning who's playing that. It has the 4 strings and creates like a nice like Korean influenced sound. I was hoping to see more of that kind of throughout the song, but it kind of disappeared after the first 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, is it orientalizing to say, like, I want the very Korean things?
I mean, they're Korean though. So it's, well, 3 of them are.
That's true.
But like, as a Westerner, just to be like, I want to see like so Koreanness, you know, and like K-pop music videos. I don't know. Because like, I mean, that's the honest sentiment I have. Like, I would just love to see the things that like, you know, hey, this is our heritage.
Yeah.
This
I don't
is
think it's
who we
orientalizing.
are. Yeah.
Because it's like, it's why people like Dang, right? Or like, what was that One Us song? Is it One Us that they had?
Oh,
the
yeah.
Lit.
Right? Like, and they're all in the humbucks. And then like, it's just, it's not orientalizing because they're reclaiming it, right? And they're reinterpreting it into their own culture. And who is to say that modernness has to be Western, so to speak, right? And like, why should they have to superimpose whiteness onto, or not even whiteness, because arguably R&B hip hop is Black music that was appropriated by white people and then imported, right? So yeah, I think it's just changing the music to fit your heritage, right? That's what makes it cool. Versus like the dun 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 dun.
Oh, sure, right.
Like that's different.
Well, that's a cliche, you know, in itself. Yeah. The Western one, I should say, but yeah. Sonically, it follows the Teddy Park, 2NE1, Blackpink, Big Bang, YG formula, where you've got a verse that tends to be in like a different instrumental vibe from the chorus.
Yeah.
And you go back and forth between that for the first 2 choruses. I think what's different with this is that they've got that throwback vibe for the rap sequence after the second chorus. And then after the bridge, we've got Jisoo, aka Park Bom, doing the bridge. Then you go into the third YG party chorus, where it's just like reinventing the chorus. And it's like, you know, they add lots of layers onto it. They maybe extend it by like, you know, 16 more beats or something.
A little dance break.
Yeah, a dance break. Exactly. Yeah. And I don't know, like, if it ain't broke, like, I guess you can keep running with it. But to me, that was just something that stood out to me with the song. It's like, oh, okay, we did it again. Like Teddy strikes again.
Yeah. It's so funny that you said it's the YG formula, because I guess I don't listen to enough YG music to know. It reminded me of like SM, because SM smashes all those like genres together. And I really actually like the SM sound. So it's cool that you said that, because before I was just like, oh, I guess YG is copying SM style, but it's not the case at all. So that's cool.
Well, I feel like for SM Entertainment, lately they've been on the trend of Wonderful Treasure Find, aka WTF. In their sound, because like it makes you go like, what the hell did I just listen to? And then you listen to it again, like Sticker, aespa songs.
Illusion by aespa. I was like, oh, at first, but I'm in love now.
Yeah.
Like, I really like aespa.
But aespa's really popular now. Like, they are killing it.
Are they?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, at least from my DJ perspective, like aespa is requested. Everyone knows the choreography. They dance to. Like, yeah. aespa is really killing it. So I think that's the formula or the experiment that SM is going with right now. Just a lot of like, where the hell are we going sound.
Isn't it called like noisy music? Isn't that what they call it?
Oh
like
my God. You're
music?
going to get me on my like soapbox and old man, get off my lawn vibe again. But just to go off on that really quickly, kids nowadays aren't using the term noise music correctly. Like,
Oh, they're not. Sorry.
no. Like noise music, like in its truest sense, like I hate like, I guess in the English language, if you use it enough, that becomes its meaning. Like people misuse the term or word literally enough, and then it when they really mean like figuratively or something different. But now like literally means how people have misused it. Anyway,
It's its own antonym.
yeah, unironically. But with noise music, it was originally for like atonal avant-garde,
Oh.
like, not even time signature, like, sounds, aka noise.
Got it.
And it was very experimental stuff, right? Like, let me break through this norm and like the physics of music and like the human like paradigm of like, music composition to do something different. But when kids use the term noise music nowadays, they just mean banger. It's like, oh, it goes hard.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And like, that's how like us DJs refer to it. Like, okay, a banger is like a song that's going to like, it's going to have a bass heavy drop. It's going to have something that, people go crazy to as soon as that drop hits. That's banger. A banger are the songs that are like, the top 20 songs on the top 40 chart that people dance to, that you play between 11:30 and 12:30 at night. Yeah. Sorry, not to go off track, but
No,
That was cool.
fascinating.
Very
Yeah.
specific. Yeah.
Oh, I understood the term noise music to be like random weird sounds.
oh,
Heard
there's
it.
that too. Yeah. But like, see, the thing is, even with like sticker, right? Like, 5-year-olds learning how to play the recorder, like that could be like really grating on the ears. But if you look at the composition of those random notes from that seemingly dissonant sound, it's actually in key and in time. So it's like, it's not actually noise music. It's actually not that random if you actually look at the composition of it.
This is fascinating.
Yeah. How artistic is that?
Oh, my one last comment about Pink Venom is that I feel like that it's in common a lot with a lot of songs where when you actually know the lyrics, you feel stupid. Like you feel dumber for having learned the lyrics, right? Like,
La-ta-ta-ta.
no, I don't even, you know what? Some people hate ratatatas and like la 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 la's and na 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 na. It's like I'm agnostic about them, right?
But the actual like English parts are the Korean
Like,
lyrics.
well, apparently, K-pop sociology, you'll have to like verify, but like apparently, like the Korean lyrics don't make sense. The English
Yeah.
lyrics
There's
for
not
sure
much
don't make
going
sense.
on. Yeah.
Like, so like, and combined together, it's just like gibberish combined with more gibberish. And like, I'm just really sick of songs where you just declare how badass you are, but like you have nothing in your lyrics or like
no substance.
discography to back it up.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and this is no shade to Blackpink as like a group or whatever, because they obviously can only make what they're given. Right. Like that's not their fault. But like everything is like, oh, we're so badass. Don't hate us because we're bad. And we're so awesome. And da da da. And it's like, if you have to say that often, it's not true. You know what I mean?
I guess. But like, isn't all like hip hop rap music like that?
Sure. But it's particularly noticeable when there's a dearth of other music. You know?
Okay.
You know, but mostly it's, and I don't even mind that because that's the whole girl crush vibe, right? Like that's the thing. Like, oh, we're cool. And you look at them and the way they're presented, you're like, yeah, that'd be cool if I could be that cool, right? Or like that badass. It's just that the lyrics are so stupid.
Straight to your dome. Like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Oh my God. Straight to your dome. Like, ha ha ha. And I hate myself for knowing it.
This is a pre-release, and the full album will come out on September 16th. So there will be like a formal title track, which I hope has a little bit more lyrics, a little bit more flow. I assume the vibe will be different from this.
I mean, how many tracks are on this album? Like 5?
I don't know.
Plus the instrumental, plus the remix.
Oh my gosh.
So the longest album they've ever dropped, right? Like,
Yeah. Honestly, it works though. Like, I think from a commercial point of view, it's working for them. From a fan point of view, it's working for them. Like,
We waited 2 years almost for this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, look, though, like, isn't that the thing nowadays, though, to not drop full albums, right? Like, the thing is now just to drop a bunch of singles and string them along. And then finally you have enough singles and then you make an album and then that album is automatically platinum because you've already sold all these singles, right?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that like the Sam Smith method?
I guess. Yeah. Makes sense to me. I'll buy it. But like, if I could just like reset the conversation on Blackpink real quick. As we've said on the show before, like, there's no hiding that Blackpink and many other K-pop artists are wearing hip hop as an aesthetic. I think especially the case here, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if I can just appreciate it for what it is, like acknowledging that these lyrics are nonsensical, but, you know, it makes me feel good. It makes me feel empowered. And I like the jam. I like the vibes. I like the energy. Then, you know, what's to stop you? Like, I fully support people who feel that way. Like, I feel that way about a lot of other Western top 40 songs. like, look at any like Black Eyed Peas song.
Oh, I hate Black Eyed Peas. I'm sorry.
So like, you know, I'm not hating on anyone who likes this song. And again, I myself count myself in that camp of people who acknowledge that this is campy, kitschy, stupid, but like, I love it for what it is.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like, when I do K-pop reaction videos, people are like, because I totally panned the Benny Blanco collab. My friend called it the musical equivalent of a pity fuck. And
or just a sellout for the fandom, really.
I mean, it's basically Maroon 5's Sugar, right? Like,
oh yeah, right.
With a really mediocre rap by Snoop Dogg. So like, I feel like I have no leg to stand on because I love Justin Bieber's Yummy, which is like legitimately the worst song of 2020.
But so popular.
And yet it's so catchy. Like, I feel like those lyrics are probably stupider than Pink Venom, right? So like, I hate gatekeeping people from music, right? Like, oh, that's not real music, or that's not real hip hop. That's not real K-pop or whatever. And at the same time, like, I recognize it's not that serious, but at the same time, it is serious, right? Because it reflects culture and it reflects the zeitgeist, right? And so therefore we should examine it. So like, it can be both things, right? Like, you can critically, like, kind of what KpopSociology does on her YouTube channel, right? Like, she critically examines these things and like these issues in K-pop. And you're like, okay, is it really that serious? And you're like, but it is kind of serious, right? So I feel like it can be both. So I don't want to hear people going like, oh, just let it be. It's just pop. It's not so serious. And that's true. It is not that serious. And we can demand better, right? Like, you can enjoy it, but also recognize it could be elevated.
Yes, it's not either or.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, with that being said, let's move the show along. So moving on to our how you doing, our how you thing, or just content or hot issue or K-pop news that you wanted to discuss. Let's hand it over to K-pop sociology. So how you doing, K-pop sociology? What in the hallyu world would you like to talk about or share?
Yes, I would like to talk about Street Man Fighter, which episode 1 started airing this week. And for those who might not be familiar, Street Man Fighter, or SMF, is a dance crew competition program aired by Mnet. There are 8 kind of male dance crews who battle it out for the #1 prize. And you might recognize some of the choreographers behind very popular K-pop dances like New Jeans' Hype Boy, 17's Hot, Super M's Tiger Inside, Twice's Likely, and many, many more. This is a continuation of Street Woman Fighter, which was another dance crew competition show that aired last year that gained a lot of popularity. I like watching this because you get kind of like an inside scoop of who makes the choreography. These are often dancers who dance on stage with a lot of the K-pop idols. And there's a little bit of a competition between those who create choreography for more like commercial uses versus more underground kind of hip hop scene away from the commercial world. Anyway, interesting kind of rivalry there. But there was a controversy with the chief producer when in a press conference, someone asked, what's your observation or difference between Straight Man Fighter with a male cruise versus the Street Woman Fighter with a female cruise? And he said, male participants displayed loyalty and pride more often compared to the female participants, who mainly exhibited jealousy and greed. He received a lot of criticism about his comments seeming sexist, and he apologized since, but I couldn't agree more and just kind of be sad about the fact that he could look at what to me is very similar levels of passion and professionalism. And you're right, there's a little bit of heat on the dance floor, but to interpret that as jealousy for the female dancers, but pride for the male dancers seems like a double standard, seems like a very large kind of generalization. So other than these kind of controversies, it's a very fun show. You know how Mnet likes to do it, very kind of, what's the right word? Like competitive and spicy. So episode 1 is just out and more to come.
Oh.
Was his apology like, I'm sorry if I made you feel that way?
I'm sure.
Oh my gosh. I think he said something along the lines of like, the spirit of Street Man Fighter is to like promote like growth and like expansion of the dance scene, not to like shame on each other, and like my statements did not reflect that. So there was more than just like, oh, I'm sorry, but it wasn't. These apologies are kind of hard because, you know, like he like writes it on Twitter and a bunch of people replies to it, but maybe like a 5 out of 10 apology.
Like forced apologies always suck, right?
Yeah.
Like you even if it's like the best apology in the world, and I'm not saying this one was, like. There's no actual winning it, right? So.
But I do like that fans or just people on the internet called him out and then he responded. I think it's important to call out things for what they are, and hopefully no more sexist comments.
Do you think it's reflective of the environment in Korea at the moment, the political environment, where like feminism is like a huge no, or like, you know what? We're probably getting into like completely off-topic territory. But
maybe for next
I'll
time.
stop us. Sorry,
No,
Peter.
I really want to hear K-pop sociology's answer to that. Like,
I think
maybe you can give us like the brief description, and then we dive more future episode. But like, I really want to hear what you have to what you think of that.
I think the word sexism and feminism are being used way more in the last 2 to 3 years than in the past, I don't know, 15
10.
years combined in Korea. So like naming, identifying, demanding, those are all, I think, positive, progressive ideals. But I also see a lot of extremism in saying like, oh, if you're labeled as a feminist, then you're also ABC, all these kind of stereotypes. So we're, I think, in an early kind of phase where feminism and talking about sexism is becoming a little bit more normalized, but still a lot of progress to make. So I think the comment itself is reflective of some of the sexism actually going on, but the apology and the demand of the apology afterwards is also reflective of people having terminology to call things out in public.
That's really cool. And I do want to clarify, I don't mean to say it in a way of like, the West is judging Korea, because I just want to fully acknowledge that America, where I am based and live and grew up and was born, is not really winning on this feminism.
We're not doing so hot.
Right? Like, so, you know, pot, kettle, whatever. I'm just, So I just want to make that clear. This is not a slam of sorts.
Okay, well, let's move on. So, Virginia, your turn. How you doing? What's your hallyu content thing?
Well, I'm recently obsessed with this. I guess is it a group, a platform, Bombing Tiger? And I've heard of their name before, possibly because it's, you know, in reference to Tiger Bomb. But I never really looked up their music or whatever until I found out this week that RM of BTS is featuring on a track called Sexy Nukim, I think, which translates to like sexy feeling. And I have lots of feelings about RM on a track called Sexy Feeling. I'm really actually a little bit upset about it. And then the preview I heard was like this deep booming bass. And you're just like, well, shit. All right, then. I guess it's good. I'm already pregnant. So I looked up a bunch of their like songs. The group describes themselves as like a multinational alternative K-pop band. And they rap in like Korean, English, Spanish, like all sorts of stuff. And they're all like, several of them I think are third culture kids, and like have, and it's just, they don't have a ton of tracks. I think there's 5 on Spotify. I'm sure if I looked harder, I would find like features because it's like a 9-member crew and it includes like film producers, like video concept people, and like, so it's not just music and production, but it's like a whole kind of package thing. And they're just really, really good. I feel like their description is pretty accurate, like multinational, stateless, alternative K-pop.
Do you think their target audience is like English speaking folks around the world, or?
I think they were just in Europe, So like they're very like, I want to say sometimes they remind me of Linkin Park. Because it's like a mix of like rock, but they have these like driving bass lines. Like they're like, the beat is just so heavy hitting and so dirty and so like, and then like, I think in one article I read, like they mentioned something about how they feel like Korea is a really great place to have this type of music because K-pop already combines so many different genres. So their mix of things is really apt, I guess. And they're just so cool. Like you listen to it and you're like, oh, I'm cool for knowing about this band. So I don't know how to explain it other than that, but just like, I wish I could be that cool or like that. I feel like this is what hip hop should be, right? Like that's the feeling of it. Like, oh, this is the primal hip hop, but with like rock and alternative and like pop vibes and less pop, but like, yeah, I'm just babbling now, but I really, really fuck with them. So
Yay.
Please check them out.
I listened to the teaser, but it was only 8 seconds long, which is not enough for me.
No, but just go and listen. I really like the tracks Armadillo and Colo Colo. I mean, there's only 5 of them, so you'll just hear them.
I'll see them all.
But like they're I guess a lot of dance crews like using their music. So
those are really popular, but what's also really popular are the dance relay competitions. So if you're familiar with a relay, like watching those YouTube videos and you see everyone like line up and they take turns. Sometimes the soloist, the backup dancers will take turns up in the queue. Imagine that times 5. So having like 5 or 6 groups or 5 or 6 relays. And each time me as a DJ plays a song, they'll take turns who's in the front of the row. And if you know the choreography, you stay up. But if you don't know, you're kicked off, right? Oh. So you go through like multiple songs and cycles, and like whichever team is left standing with like the remaining group members wins. So that's one version. There's also another like free-for-all version where it's like just one person. So it's not based off a team. And so like with that version, they'll reshuffle and resort each of the lines so that there's an even number of people per row. But it's really fun to watch. Like honestly, it's like the next K-pop hallyu like fan experience thing. Like I can really see it taking off.
Wow. I feel like that's really good because sometimes in the random dance where they count 3, 2, 1 and everyone rushes to the dance floor, you can get by with not knowing the choreography real well. If you're kind of like behind someone or, you just kind of look at someone. But when it's a relay dance, the attention is on you and you have to really know your moves.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, there's like 2 different or multiple different paradigms one can look at this, right? Like, is it supposed to be a competition? In the relay dance competition, yes, it's a competition, right? But like, is random dance supposed to be a competition?
Oh, that's just for fun, right?
Right. That's been my opinion anyway. But I think what I've been hearing from a lot of the different like dance teams and K-pop dancers I socialize with, they describe it as, especially with like the Gen 4 kids, like the newbies, it's all about flexing and being seen. It's all about
that's annoying.
Let me get like a good spot in front of the camera to really show I know my stuff.
Is it because people can parlay that into, is it because of social media, they can parlay that into like a career?
Like a spotlight fandom?
maybe.
Because one of my friend's kids was at KCON this weekend, and she was one of the girls chosen to dance for Luna.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I heard about that at KCON, right?
Yeah, she was one of them, and she was amazing. And I was like, holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe, possibly. Like, I've got issue with just the scene lately, like the Gen 4. Sorry, I like keep like referring to the Gen 4 like K-pop fandom as like yeah, for real though. But like the kids these days, it's all about knowing the choreography and showing that you know the choreography rather than dancing to the music and having a good time, whether you know the choreography or not. And that's the biggest difference I've seen between doing like Gen 2 21 and up events versus like all ages events. It's like, for one, Gen 2 events, they'll actually buy alcohol.
Because they're old enough to.
Yeah, but or even if they are, like
Right.
even if they are, like even if it's like barely 21 and up event or like all ages and there's a bar available, people won't buy alcohol there, which is really problematic for a lot of the venues where like bar sales is where they make most of their money. But yeah, I just wish we can get to a point where like K-pop fans feel comfortable dancing and vibing to songs that they don't know the choreography to. You can still have a good time.
Wait, how do they get any traction at a club then? Like you can't get traction at a club if you have, unless, you know what I mean? Like if you
traction as an event promoter
or like, I guess if the expectation is you have to know the choreography to dance to the song, then it kind of fucks over people who want to like make K-pop mainstream outside of Korea, right? Because then when you play the music, people don't feel like you can dance to it unless if you know the choreography. You know what I mean? So then if people don't dance, then there's no reason to play it, right? Because then that
It's like a
ruins the whole-
negative feedback.
Right,
loop.
right. Unless if I have wrong.
Well, I think again, I am not a Gen Z. Sorry, I'm like talking patronizingly like about like people who could turn out to these events that I DJ, but
Don't listen to this podcast.
I think if I understand their perspective correctly, granted I might not, but if I was to speak on their behalf, it's not about trying to make it mainstream. It's about I work so hard about learning all this choreography. Now let me show you. Let me be seen. Let me demonstrate all this hard work I did in memorizing and learning all these different choreographies and doing it well.
But they do realize that if the music doesn't catch on and doesn't make money for their artists, then they won't get more songs.
I think when they view success for their artist, it's not even in the financial commercial sense, like in tracking sales. I think they're
because
often
it's down
looking
with
like,
capitalism.
yeah, they're like, well, I've got more views on YouTube. Like that's how they view commercial success, even though that doesn't always translate to commercial success.
None. There's like
Right.
no correlation.
Well, yeah. And the other thing is like, not only is it not like sales commercial correlation, but it also like indicative of quality. Like, just because I have, X million more views than you, that means mine is better.
Right. Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
So daebak or not rapid fire. So in this section, I'll like name a thing and then we can each go around saying whether we're daebak or not on that thing.
What if we don't know anything about it?
I can maybe give you a little bit of background.
Okay. I mean, I haven't heard it, like the Ives sampling.
Yeah, I can talk about it really briefly here, but yeah. And then also on that note, like you can interpret the prompt however you want.
Oh, okay.
So you can provide your reasoning for why you're daebak or not. But look, the point is to be quick and more rapid fire here.
Got it.
Okay. So are you daebak or not on Ives Afterlike sampling or paying homage to the disco classic I Will Survive?
대박.
I haven't heard it, but in general, why not? Daebak.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
I was assuming that you would have said not on that.
I mean, I
Virginia,
hate
'cause
that song.
think you. Oh,
But, like,
okay.
I hate I Will Survive because it's like a cliche now, right? But that doesn't mean that it's a bad sample, right?
I think they put
Yeah.
a nice twist to it. And then in the bridge, when Ray, the rapper, sings, my heart just beats with it so much. I feel like I've listened to it so much since it came out maybe like 3 days ago.
Oh, I have to listen then.
Her voice is so good. The bridge is my favorite part with the disco-inspired beats. Definitely Daebak.
Oh, then maybe I won't like this. Peter, that's why Peter said this. Because I hate disco.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe not.
Peter, would you say it's Daebak?
I think the process of sampling and paying homage to like the classics, like the oldies, is good. But in this case, the execution is not. I actually don't like how they use "I Will Survive" in the song, so I would say not. Yeah, it's really funny. DJ John in the Slack was joking, like, all these K-pop fans are going to be like, "Oh man, why did Gloria like Gaynor like copy Ive?" Because you've seen that before from K-pop fans.
Oh, really?
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
yeah. Anyway, okay, let's move on to the next one. Okay, are you Daebak or not on NCT ticket sales in the two-stop tour?
Daebak. Sorry.
Daebak about the tour, not Daebak about the 2 stops.
Yes, that.
I would say I'm actually Daebak all around. On the 2 stops.
What?
Because you're in one of the stops.
No, he isn't.
No,
Wait, the stop
we're-
is Los Angeles and New York.
Oh, it's in Los Angeles and New York.
That's why I agree with you, because I don't want to drive to fucking LA to like go see them.
I'm actually pro Daebak on this because, like, even I'm looking at more from like the company perspective. Like, those boys, especially for a group that large, like, you know, it's hard to get schedules right. And any tours at all is a win. Like, yes, obviously, as fans, we would like them to hit like every city in the world.
Right.
But like that's just not feasible.
That's a good
That's just not
point.
practical. That just doesn't scale.
Is it at least multiple shows per stop?
No,
Like-
they don't have enough time.
Oh, so I mean, because like Harry Styles has like a residency at Madison Square Garden.
Right. But I think with this group and, just production demands being what they are, like, I don't think they have time in the schedule for an extended tour. Although I did see jokes around this being like, oh, that's what they would have called a world tour back in like the SM Town days or back
Paris,
in like
London,
Gen
world tour.
2. Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay. Moving on. Are you guys Daebak or not on KCON returning to being in person?
Daebak.
Yeah.
Daebak.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Maybe I should have changed that too. Are you Daebak or not on the KCON World Tour?
Oh, what does that mean?
So KCON is going on tour. I don't know if you know this, Virginia, because apparently their San Francisco stop didn't do as well. It didn't sell out.
I didn't even know they were in San Francisco. So when someone in the Slack mentioned it, I was like,
Yeah. So they've been trying to scale it so that they can take the concert to more cities outside of the main conferences. So,
well, had I known, I would have bought it, but I didn't know it even existed until after the fact. And then I was like, oh,
Maybe that's why they didn't do a good job of marketing it.
no, because I heard about camp and I almost bought it. Interesting.
okay. So are you guys Daebak or not on the tour?
On the tour.
Where are they going? Which cities do they want to? It's all in the US, right?
Yeah, it was all US. And
Poor Europe, man. That sucks.
yeah, I know it always sucks to be in Europe. So San Francisco, Minneapolis, Houston.
Minneapolis.
Yeah. I bet you they never got anything, so they've got to be happy about that. And then Houston, Texas, Atlanta, and New York.
Okay, those make sense. But Minneapolis.
Yeah, they're up next. They were yesterday. It looks like on the at the time of this recording. But yeah.
No, I'm bummed I missed it. So I guess Daebak, because I'm bummed I missed it.
Okay.
Yeah, me too, Daebak, for more in-person gatherings of people either showing off that they know the dance or enjoying the dances together at a concert. I also think KCON does a really good job of showcasing artists who might not have as much either financial capital or
Yes.
social capital to go on a tour themselves
Yeah.
and just promote maybe 2 or 3 songs and get them all in kind of like a bundle situation. So definitely 대박.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah. And it's definitely value for a person who just likes a bunch of groups, right?
Multi-stands.
Yeah, especially here in the US, there's so many multi-fans. Okay, are you guys daebak or not on the Big Titty Committee merch?
Debak! I bought some to wear ironically.
I actually had to look this one up. And is it what's his name from Card?
Yeah, Big BM.
Matthew.
Big Matthew.
That's right, BM from
Big
Card.
Titty Gang.
I was like, what could this be? So I had to look it up. But the cause is great.
Yeah.
And the look of the merch is not bad either.
I bought the black and white striped one, and I didn't realize there was stuff on the back. So the front says BTG, Big Titty Gang, and the back says, save a titty, join the committee.
Oh,
And I'm like, what is this? And I guess they're donating a portion of sales to breast cancer research.
That's right.
So I think it's so awesome.
great cause. And funny that you didn't know. It said that in the back.
Yeah. I don't really pay attention necessarily to the merch I buy. I just buy a lot of merch.
Yeah, I'm daebak on that as well. I just wish BM did it a lot sooner, like when he first was a meme, like a few years ago around Big Titty Committee.
Yeah.
But anyway. Okay. Are you guys daebak or not on KCON High Wave? Do you know what this is?
Mm-mm.
Okay. At the risk of biasing your opinion, it's this creepy AF thing where like idols stand in like a glass like cage.
What?
Oh, I've seen it. I didn't know they called it a high wave. That's funny because it's like a high
actual
five
people?
and a wave, right?
Yeah.
Wait, like actual people or like a
Yeah,
wax
the
statue?
idols. Like they're animals in a zoo.
That's terrible. Like, is it to protect them from COVID? Like, I don't understand this concept.
I don't know what presumably maybe it's to move the line along a little bit faster and like stop saucings and safety maybe.
Oh,
I
is
don't
this
know.
like to replace the high touch events?
Yeah.
That's creepy. I don't like that.
Yeah. I mean, K-pop sociology, do you know, it sounds like maybe you're a little familiar with this. Or
I think my understanding, and I might be wrong, is that before you could like shake hands with the artists if you got like the VIP package, and then that caused them problems and it turned into a high five where you can't like physically attack or get too close to the artist. But during COVID, you know, those glass frames basically between, like if you go to the nail salon or if you go to an office, for example, they might have those glass doors, or if you go to the bank or a reception desk or whatnot. I thought it was more of that. And you just kind of wave to your artist. So the artists are standing still and the fans are moving along in a single file line and waving to folks.
Yep.
I've seen good videos where people will like show different signs. So if there are 5 members, you'll have 5 different signs for each of them. And they'll say sweet messages of like what you compliment or like about them. And it's a way to kind of replace the high touch while displaying messages so that they can only see it through their eyes. So I thought it was like a COVID-safe pivot, but maybe from an artist's point of view, they might feel like animals in a cage. I feel like it's good for like COVID safety reasons.
Okay. I'm down with COVID safety. I'm not down with... I didn't realize it was like replacing that. I thought it was just like...
Yeah.
They're standing in a thing and they wave. Which would be weird.
In practice, they are. Yeah.
Well, yes, but like...
Yeah, I'm actually daebak on that.
Okay.
'Cause I think we need to normalize that. You know,
Yeah.
boundaries
Safety.
are good.
Yes. But if it's BTS and they do it, I will cry.
Yeah, as a fan who like wants to high five your bias, it's not tibak. But as like for the safety of the artists.
Yeah. And also people get sick.
Yeah,
that's right.
monkeypox.
Well, yeah, not just that, but like just regular sick.
Yeah.
You know?
Airborne pathogens. Yeah. So are you guys daebak or not on Attorney Woo?
Deba? Ooh to the young to the ooh.
Dong to the good to the rami. 대박. The greeting is so popular on social media, and I think it's
so
cute.
It's so cute. I hope I didn't butcher the pronunciation.
No, you did well. You did great.
K-pop sociology is like so like supportive
I
and
know,
enduring.
she's
Where
like-
it's like we horribly mispronounce something.
Right?
She's like, good job. Like,
No, I'll
you can
say it.
keep
I'll say
doing
it
it.
if
Like,
it's mispronounced.
I should
Yeah.
be that gracious to people when they like butcher Chinese. And instead, I'm just like, no. No, don't
I'm
do
learning
that.
Mandarin right now.
Oh, are you? Oh,
Yes.
very exciting.
So hard. But
Dude, Korean's hard. I don't know what you're talking about.
Extraordinary Attorney Woo, I think, is a very popular K-drama in Korea. I'm currently watching it only on episode like 6 or something. But the main character is on the autism spectrum, but she went to the top law school and works as an attorney, encounters various cases. And I think it like highlights a lot of stereotypes, unfortunately, that society has about people who are on the spectrum. Very touching, but also really funny and cute at the same time.
yeah. I'm just daebak on it just for the cute little thing you guys said at the top. So, all right. Are you guys daebak or not on Twice's Talk That Talk?
Who's going to say it first?
I mean, I feel like it's very Twice.
Yeah, it's a song.
That's a good observation.
It's a song.
By Twice. So it's got that going for it.
It's very bubblegum, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like if you're a Twice fan, then it's daebak. I don't prefer that genre of music.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
Daebak for me either.
Yeah. Honestly, like I've listened to a lot of Twice songs that I really like. And I'll even say from like all the gigs I've done this summer, Twice is like hands down the most danced to group. Like
Oh, is it?
everyone knows Twice songs. Like it gets the most number of people on the floor.
Mhm.
It is the number one most like requested song group, more than BTS, like more than anything else. But I have to say, Talk That Talk was like the least creative work I've ever seen from them today.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
All the way going back to Ooh Ah. Like honestly, like
What was good?
yeah.
Oh, maybe not. Maybe Peter disagrees, and that's okay.
Well, it was, I think, a sign of how old they were, like, you know, the members at that time. But like Talk That Talk, like, you know, they're older now, so they're trying to be more, I think the costuming is maybe a little bit more grown up.
I just didn't like the cheap, trashy lingerie part. I didn't understand it. The other parts were fine.
Yeah.
I also think this is the first song with all 9 members after they renewed their contract with JYP. So I had big
Oh.
expectations on kind of launching like a chapter 2 or like a next phase of their career, but I didn't get that strong impression.
Wasn't it marketed also sexier? Right? Wasn't
Yeah,
like everyone
more
saying like,
mature.
oh, yeah, like all their outfits are so sexy and like, and so I was expecting that when I watched it, and I was like, this is the same that they do.
Yeah, it felt very safe territory for them. And because they're Twice, it's going to do well.
I mean, sometimes you just need to make money.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
not Daebak.
But like I feel the same way about Fancy, and then Fancy blew up.
Yeah.
And now I play it all the time, and I feel good
Oh.
about Fancy. So like, you know, I reserve the right to be like wrong and change my mind on that later. But like right now, it's not Daebak. But okay, changing gears. Are you guys Daebak or not on Mark Twan's Far Away?
Fun fact. He has the same last name as I do. He just spells it the Taiwanese way, and mine's the Pinyin way.
Oh,
Yeah, same last name. So I feel like I want to support him, but I feel it's just like a normal pop song, right? Like
but he drops the F-bomb in it.
he does every hook. He does, yeah. It's a pretty hook. It's a pretty chorus, but I already forgot what it sounds like. So I think that means not.
Me too. I think it might grow on me later, but in the first few plays, I would say not Daebak for my personal taste.
Yeah, I don't know if I was the target audience for this one, but yeah, it's similar. Not. I think, you know, if you're gonna break the mold and legacy of where you came from, you still need to succeed in whatever new format they're going for. And just because it's a new format for you doesn't give you an excuse to say like, it's okay that it's like not, top caliber stuff. But okay.
I do feel like it's on par with how I feel about GOT7 music in general, though.
Oh, really?
And apologies to the is it the
Agassiz? Yeah.
Like I feel like I like GOT7's personalities more than I like their music in general. Like I like about 40 to 50% of their songs, and then the other half the time I'm like,
But Jackson Wang, though, like everything he's done since, I've really loved more so than GOT7.
Yes.
Okay, moving us along. Last Daebak or not? Are you Daebak or not on Apaki, if I'm saying that correctly? KpopSociology, how do you pronounce
The
this?
Korean pronunciation is apoki, but that's not a Korean word. So I think ipaki is probably the English pronunciation. Apoki is the Korean pronunciation.
Okay.
Is it an acronym?
I don't think so. I think it's like ki, I think is used often to refer to something digital, I think. Like Pokemon?
Right.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I
That would
can
be
see
my
that.
guess.
Yeah, no, there's definitely that connection there. Anyway, Poki. Anyway, its song, West Swing, featuring E40 from the Hyphy Bay Area.
I know. I was so embarrassed for him.
Or to put it another way, as Michaela put it in our Slack, does cultural misappropriation for Korean anthropomorphic bunny idols apply? Like, are Korean anthropomorphic bunny idols held to the same misappropriation standards?
Is it an actual bunny though? I thought it was like a person with the bunny ears.
It's got
I think it
bunny
refers
ears
to
and
herself
tails
as a bunny, no?
yeah.
It's just weird.
I'm a little speechless on this one. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna go not on that, even though it's got E40.
The E40 line, the E40 verse was okay until he called out Apoki.
Yeah.
And you're like, that was weird.
It's like, what universe am I in where like E40 is in this like virtual K-pop idol thing? It's so weird.
But he's a person, you know what I mean? Like in the thing, there's her and then there's him, and the merge of those two worlds. I don't know.
It was just really confusing. I didn't understand what I was looking at, and I didn't understand if I'm supposed to be offended or like confused. Like it made me uncomfortable, and I did not enjoy sitting in that discomfort for the 3 minutes that it was. But if I had just heard the song, I probably would have liked it. Okay. Mm-hmm. It was the video.
Okay, it's got that going for it.
Right? Like, I feel like the song itself is not objectionable. You know?
That's good.
But the video, that was weird.
I mean, look, it's... I don't know the bunny's full background, but she's got braids and she's got the... what do you call it? Like the bandana tied up on your head. And it's like a very, and the chains and the big hoop earrings.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something about it that just makes me feel like that was heavily appropriated.
Mm-hmm.
And it's further confusing because I know I guess it's a animal, but it's shaped like a person.
Like, is she Korean?
Yeah, is she Korean? Is she white? Does race not exist for bunnies? Is it like
virtual bunnies, right?
Is it like an anime situation where people are like, "Whoa," So like I'm just more like,
I think we all feel weird and off about it.
Yeah.
But like that's all to say, like if there's a different way I should be looking at it, like I'm all ears.
Bunny ears? You're all bunny ears?
Yeah, sure, all that. All those things. But right now I'm not feeling good about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not 대박.
Yeah, not.
Okay, well that concludes Daebak or not in this long episode. It's time to promote your things. So let's go K-pop sociology first.
Yes. My name is KpopSociology. I make videos, mainly on YouTube, but on other channels too. So if you look up K-pop sociology on YouTube, I should be the first one to come up. Please give it a listen and subscribe.
Yes. In Virginia.
I guess just follow me on socials. I'm occasionally funny, and mostly I just scream about how I want Suga to marry me. But I'm the Mandarin Mama on Twitter and Instagram.
And I'm at DJ Peter Lowe. Don't forget you can follow all of us at the K-popcast on Twitter. Just in terms of things to promote, check out the SUNMI tour. We've got a link to that in the episode description. And I've got 2 upcoming gigs maybe I'll plug. So I think this episode should come out the day before my gig at SAC Anime.
Oh.
We're doing lots of K-pop, EDM, hip-hop stuff. Yeah, that's a place where I'll juxtapose E40 with K-pop. And then we got another one up on I think it's September 15th in San Jose, out in the park in front of the San Jose Museum of Art. So if you're in the Bay Area, coming out, it's a free event, 7 to 9 p.m. Okay, so that concludes the episode. And don't forget to make sure you subscribe, rate, review, subscribe, all those things. And we've got a KCON episode next week. I know Michaela covered the show, so it should be the next episode. So stay tuned for that. And thanks, guys, for joining in.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for having us.